Welcome, dear brothers and sisters. We are into the third Sunday of Easter. We are still in the Easter season, so if you meet people, do say Happy Easter and Happy Easter, Hallelujah to all of you. And it's so nice to see all of you clicking into Facebook. And we are here today to meditate on the third Sunday of Easter. We have come through the great mystery of Easter, and now Jesus in the Gospel is telling us something so beautiful. He's calling us witnesses. He says, you are witnesses of these things. So you and I and every disciple of Jesus is a witness to His presence, to His life, to the mysteries of Christ in our life. And you and I now are called to be those witnesses to Jesus in today's world. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you and I are called to be witnesses. Now, the word witness is from court language. What is the meaning of the word witness? Who is a witness? What is a witness? Now, many of us have been involved in accidents. If not involved in accidents, at least we've seen accidents. We've seen accidents taking place on the road, maybe in the train, maybe at home. So the one who sees and hears and is involved in that incident is called a witness. A witness to a car accident, for example, on the road, is one who can see what is happening and one who can testify to what has happened, what he has seen, what he has heard, and he can tell the court and the people, the police, whoever's asking for information, he can tell us exactly what happened. And in the Bible, we also have witnesses. Witnesses to tell us things of what they have seen, what they have heard, and they share it with us. And a witness's account is important, is credible. And that is why Jesus wants all of us to go out and be witnesses. The Greek name for the word witness is martyr. Now, don't think of the thoughts that you have in your mind right now. Now, who is a martyr? A martyr is a witness, one who has seen, one who has heard, and one who can testify. Three qualities of a witness. And that is what we are going to talk about. Now, who are these martyrs, witnesses? Witness in blood, a witness by word, a witness by deeds, and witness by lifestyle. Now you and I must ask ourselves, are we credible witnesses? Are we really showing and manifesting Jesus in our life? How can we manifest Jesus in our life? And that is what we're going to talk about and share in this meditation for the third Sunday of Easter. Being a witness through blood. And this is the classical word where the word martyr applies. Now, in Catholic tradition, a martyr is one who has laid down his or her life for Jesus by being killed, by shedding his or her blood for Jesus. And that is why we have Saint Agnes, who is a martyr. We have Saint Bartholomew, who is a martyr. We have Saint Thomas, the Apostle of India, as a martyr because he was killed. So anyone, any disciple who was killed for Jesus is called a martyr in blood. And the church is filled with a number of martyrs. Recently, we saw ISIS taking 21 Coptic Christians, they are Christians, standing for Christ, and they were challenged by the ISIS, and the ISIS challenged them and said, convert or be killed. And these men said we would stand for our faith, and they were brutally beheaded. And we see so many young men, even young teens, being martyred by the ISIS. And in certain countries where there's still a lot of persecution going on, we have priests and nuns who are being shot and brutally killed. Maybe in South America also. There's the memory of Romero Archbishop Romero coming up soon, and he was shot while he was celebrating Mass, shot at the altar, and he shed his blood for Christ. These are martyrs, Christians, disciples who are prepared to lay down their lives for Jesus. And as Jesus himself said, if you wish to be my disciple, forget yourself, take up your cross and follow me. And here's people taking up their cross and following Jesus. And following Jesus in his own footsteps, laying down their lives for Jesus by shedding their blood. Do you and I have that amount of faith to stand for Jesus and be killed? That'll be a challenge, and for that we need to nourish our faith. We need to really have a deep personal relationship with Jesus, to encounter Jesus in our daily lives, so that when the time comes, we can really lay down our life for Jesus. Lay down our life in blood for Jesus. And this is a great grace. Maybe we have to pray for that grace, that Jesus gives us the grace that when the moment comes to lay down our life for him, shedding our blood. Another step in witnessing to Christ is through witnessing through our word. How do we witness through word? We have great examples in the history of our church. For example, St. Ignatius went around preaching. St. Francis of Assisi went around preaching. And these great men not only preached, but they also founded religious societies and encouraged men to leave their own homeland and go as missionaries, go into the whole world, taking the good news with them, fulfilling the command of Jesus, the Great Commission. And what is the Great Commission? Go into the whole world to teach, preach, baptize, and make disciples everywhere. And these people heard the call, opened their hearts, and accepted the challenge to leave their comfort zone, to leave the familiar territory that they were used to, leave their families, and went all over the world to the four corners of the earth and preached the good news and brought Jesus to people in the street, brought people to Jesus whom they never would know Jesus. And these missionaries left their own life, left their own lifestyles, and took up to preaching the Word of God. And they preached the Word of God by word of mouth. Today we have social media, that's what you are watching right now on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube. And those days they didn't have the internet. Those days they didn't have anything to help them. They didn't even have books to a large extent. And yet they went out and preached the Word of God by their word of mouth. You see the power of the Word. And all of us know how much the Word means in our life. We take words of people seriously. These missionaries took the words of Jesus seriously in their lives and allowed the Word to transform them, change them, and take them into ways of everywhere into the world, to teach, preach, baptize, and make disciples, and to plant the church, and to bring salvation to people. So you and I today are also called to be missionaries, to be preachers, to be evangelists. These will never die out. These are calls and vocations from the Lord Himself. And the Lord is waiting for your response and my response. Whether you're married, whether you're celibate, whether you're single, whether you're a widow, whether you're a widower, Jesus is calling you. He wants each one of us to be preachers, missionaries, evangelists. Take the risk and take the Word wherever you go. The whole church, take the whole world into the Word of God. The whole world must be given the Word of God. Are you and I ready for that? I'm doing my little part. Father Iqbal is doing his little part. Are you doing your part. We witness not only by blood, we witness not only by word, but we also witness by deed. The good works that we do. And in the history of the church again, we have wonderful people, simple people, who did great things, did ordinary things in a very extraordinary way. For example, Mother Teresa. She was not even a high school student, but she joined the nunnery, became a nun, left her hometown of Albania and went to Ireland, a little village girl leaving her town, went to Ireland, was formed as a nun, and then was sent out to India. And she became so famous. Why? Because she heard the call and she left the convent, started her own little group of nuns called the Missionaries of the Poor, and today she is a saint all over the world. Why? Because she witnessed to Jesus through her deeds. And what was her deeds? How would you characterize Mother Teresa? With ordinary things. People lying on the roadside, she picked them up and gave them that dignity of being a human being at the end of their life. Gave them a wash, put on some fresh clothes, and allowed them to die with dignity. Now, these are simple things. You and I won't think of these things. And yet, Mother Teresa did this. And she saved hundreds of lives. And she brought back the condemned, those who are rejected by society, and brought them into her convent and gave them that dignity of being a human being, at least towards the end of their life. Here was a woman who dared to step out and do deeds of kindness, compassion, and love. We have another great saint who saw young boys being led astray, unemployed, not formed, no direction. Saint Don Bosco. He was a saint of the 18th century, and he saw in his own town young boys being led astray, led into crime. And what did he do? As a priest, he stepped out of the comfort of his priesthood and took up this challenge of welcoming these boys into his home, training them, guiding them, little simple things, helping them in their daily discipline, leading them to Jesus by prayer, by hard work, by formation of their skills, and he gave them the best in their lives. He brought them up from the slums into success as human beings. Here's a saint, Saint Don Bosco, or Saint John Bosco, who gave his life to be a missionary for Jesus through his deeds. I'll take another great saint of the early 19th century. His name was Joseph Worcester, and he left his hometown in Belgium and went all the way to Molokai in the Hawaiian Islands, and there he served the lepers who were locked away and were rejected by society. But he went there and he worked with the lepers. Good deeds, simple deeds. He gave them good health. He served them. He fought for them. He stood by their sides. And then finally, he became a leper. Here's a man, through his good deeds, becomes a witness to Jesus. My dear friend, I'm sure you're capable of a lot of good deeds, and you're doing a lot of deeds. Are you doing it for Jesus? Are you spreading the word of God? Are you spreading the kingdom of Jesus through your deeds? If only you could organize your deeds and offer them to Jesus and say, Jesus, I'm doing these things, these good works for you and for your honor, that your kingdom may be spread, that your kingdom may be accepted by these people for whom I'm doing these good deeds. You will be a witness to Jesus. We witness not only through our blood, by dedicating our life to Jesus, by sacrificing our life. We not only do it through word, because God has given us the gift of speech, and we use this gift of speech to proclaim His word, to share His word. Watch yourself. How many times in the day do you use the word Jesus and spread the good news of Jesus? Again, we spread the word of God not only through words, but we also spread and become witnesses through our deed. And we've seen the lives of some great people in the history of our church, how they laid down their lives by good deeds, putting away their own self-comfort and getting out there and tucking up their robes and serving the Lord through their deeds. And now we witness through our lifestyle. We witness to the Word of God through our lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle have I adopted? Is it a lifestyle where we see the love of God, where we see the forgiveness of Christ? And what is this lifestyle? This lifestyle contains everything in me. My whole way of speaking, my whole way of dealing with people, my attitudes, my choices, the stuff that I own, the stuff that I possess, and the way I deal with people, the way I look at people. In this way, it summarizes my whole lifestyle. Is my whole lifestyle a sign of God's presence? And every sincere Catholic, every sincere man, woman, every sincere Catholic family, all have this beautiful opportunity to witness to Jesus through our lifestyle. It's a challenge. Our lifestyle is dictated by our choices. What are the choices that we are making so that through these choices we manifest that we are people for Jesus? So here's a beautiful opportunity once again to look at yourself. Jesus is calling us to be witnesses. Am I choosing Jesus in the choices of my life that make up my lifestyle? Not only as an individual, not only as a married person, but my whole context of life. And in everything that I am involved with. My work, my career, my family, my social relationships, the type of house that I have, the type of job that I have, and what I do with these things to bring glory and honor to Jesus. And finally, Jesus invites all of us to be His witness. You are the hands, you are the feet, you are the face, you are the presence of Jesus. So let's get out there and be truly the witnesses of Jesus.